that. They're just dead straight away. Blows up into all these little gibbets of stuff. Going back to the orange base who's being attacked, I have Neuralized Parasite, a SCV, and I'm now creating my own little command center. I want my own Terran army force so I can attack red with both Terran, Protoss, and Zerg, which will be quite interesting to see. We're just sitting here cleaning up the rest of his force, although he does have this secondary base with a forget the name of that. Nonetheless, Planetary Fortress is written right there in front of me. Planetary Fortress, remember that. And he's still collecting minerals, trying to build a barracks, getting some more guys out of the starport, or at least trying to upgrade so he can get some more guys out. Looking at the units lost, sorry, Orange has actually lost the most amount of units. Well, we've just totaled his base, so that's actually understandable. Red has lost only 1 unit, and that was probably a Marine or Viking at the very start. I've lost 12, which is okay, and because the Protoss units are so more expensive, 9 of theirs is actually worth 1,500 minerals. Going over to the production tab, Red is getting a couple more Marines, moving into more Vikings. Orange is trying to bunker up, trying to defend against this, but there's just no chance. I busted through these rocks, came in, Planetary Fortress. I don't know if it can actually defeat this force. Very sizable force of roaches. Plus they regenerate as they're being attacked. And there's just too many. This Planetary Fortress is going to go down, and the orange player is finished. In the meantime, I've pushed into the back with Hydras, because I know Hydras are so good against Terran players, or at least Marines, and he's got flying units of Vikings, so I had to do something. I've moved into the Hydras. Going over to the Blues base, he's macroing up, he's got his little Stalker army there, and because he's blocked off his front wall, he actually has to either blink, which he doesn't have researched, out of his base, or at least set the rally point. He should set the rally point out here somewhere so more units can clump up. And it looks like this little lone stalker has been pushed out the edge. And going back over to orange base, I'm just cleaning up the rest of his base with a couple of rogue roaches, and have finally put down my command center, building a supply depot. I'm going to start pumping out SCVs to get some more minerals from now my 3rd base, and probably will set up a barrack sometime soon so I can pump out those Marines. In the middle of the base we have a nice large force here, just waiting to consolidate a few more units so we can actually make a push. I'm researching metabolic boosters because I love little Zerglings when they're upgraded, and they're very quick at swarming mineral lines especially, or even just buildings, and taking them down rather rapidly. Plus they can get up close and personal to these siege tanks if we can get past this front wall, or I could run around the back and get up to these siege tanks very, very quickly with Marines. He's still getting more Vikings. He's obviously wanting to go air, and he's just continuing to do so. It may actually work, although Vikings you have to drop to the floor to actually engage this force here, but he will be able to take care of these mutas very quickly, although I don't know what else he can do with that force. Looking at the current units, I have a very large range of units, which I tend to try and do these days. I find that if you've got a good mix of units, it can deal with almost any situation, although it can be hard to keep up with. Going over to the resources tab, Red actually has quite a lot of minerals sitting in the bank, although he does have no gas at all. So, and these Vikings actually cost 100 gas each, so he can't build too many. He should put down a couple more barracks and start pumping out some Marines, but due to this force clumping up here, although you can't see it, probably won't do him too much good. Red player here cannot see very much at all. He just sees a couple of stragglers from the orange team, and he's waiting for something to come into this radar line from his sensory tower. Going back to everyone. Ooh, it looks like Zerg force is moving over here, getting ready for an attack. I think we're organizing between ourselves to send the Protoss in the front door. Zerg will go in the back door. In the meantime, I've been upgrading like crazy, trying to macro as best as I can. I've got my greatest buyer, so I can go into Broodlords, which just do terrible, terrible damage, pardon the pun. And I'm trying to get out as many corruptors as I possibly can. He's asking me if I want to attack yet, and I'm pretty much ready. These corruptors have just come out, although I don't really have as much gas and minerals as I need to convert them all to Broodlords, but I will definitely try. Here comes one of them now, so this will be interesting. Also note, I've got these, there's an attack, I won't worry about that. He's trying to bust in this front door. He really should move his units closer so all of them can engage at once. As it stands, these siege tanks are just ripping them apart. He's losing quite a lot of units there, but does manage to force his way through. Over the back here, my corruptors are actually making short work. Oh, this is something of note. These corruptors are anti-air, yet they don't move very fast. I've noticed a lot of people have mentioned that. I've never really noticed them because I've never got to tier 3 to build them. But just noticing then, they really just couldn't catch up at all to these Vikings, which is kind of annoying for a anti-air unit who can't move fast. Right now I'm seeing just all this going on in the back of my base. He's trying to shred everything up. If he starts getting to these buildings over here, then I won't be able to build my advanced unit. So I'm running in my broodlords now, that I've got a couple. Also running in a lot of my units. They're all coming in the front here, just to try and clean up this little force that's in the back of my base, and then I can concentrate on actually attacking the rest of the red base. Blue still has a lot of forces here, just trying to take down the orbital command center. So red cannot mine minerals anymore, but that doesn't really matter because red's got plenty of minerals in the bank if he really wanted to do something. Now all these SCVs are just sitting around doing nothing at all, and over here in the bottom right hand corner I've established a nice little Terran base for myself. I'm starting to pump out a couple of Marines, but I don't think it's much point at this late of game. I've got my broodlords out, I've got some roaches here, I've got some hydras. This force can easily take the stragglers here, especially with blue cleaning up the rest, and he's got another force here, a couple more stalkers if he really wants to come in. I'm coming in from every angle over here, and there's really nothing much that red can do at this point. He has got no units. If we have a look at the unit tab, he's got 2 Marines and 2 siege tanks. They're just not going to be enough. Here's his siege tanks here and his 2 Marines. That's his last little force here. They'll try and do as much damage as they possibly can, and they are actually taking out quite a few units. But I move in nice and close so to avoid the siege tank minimum range, to get in the siege tank minimum range, and quickly dispatch with that force. Now I'm just trying to clean up these SCVs. My broodlords come in, doing their lots of damage. I love these little brood things that jump on the floor and start attacking things. They only do 4 damage, and they last about 10 seconds, but they do a hell of a lot of damage when they impact. It does 25 damage. My little force of Marines have come in to help try and clean things up. Blue's also sending his stalkers down. I'm just building Zerglings at this point because I know they can get into the action fast. I've got these units over here doing nothing much at all. Notice that Orange still actually has some units over here. So he is not actually dead. I'm pretty sure he's left the game, but he's not dead yet. Just wiping out the remaining of these buildings. Having a look at the APM tab, I'm doing an average of 61 APM, which is I'm quite happy with. Over onto the production tab, Blue is actually still upgrading, getting more units. I'm getting a couple more broodlords and some Marines. Over onto the resource tab, everyone's got plenty of minerals, not much gas, but that's because it's end game. KPT has just left, and that is that, folks. Having a look at the units lost. Red Terran put up quite a valiant fight, losing 92 units, 8,000 minerals worth. I lost in fact I lost more, costing slightly less, but that's the nature of Zerg, I feel, especially with a lot of Zerglings running around getting killed by siege tanks. Going to the unit count, Blue Protoss actually has 17 stalkers. That was his force at the end of the game. I'm pretty sure he only made stalkers and a couple of zealots at the start. I've gone for a nice wide variety. I do love the infestors. I'm starting to get used to them now. I've even got a couple of Marines here. The Broodlords, the Overseer, I was flying around just in case somebody had any hidden units. Going over to the spendings tab. As we can see, Blue Protoss has put most of his money into, or more money into, his technology compared to the rest of them. I've also been upgrading that zone because I could get to tier 3 level units and get the Broodlords out. I also spent a lot more on army because I really wanted to make this a high action game, and hopefully it was. So thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you all next time. Thank you.